Free Gems Network.
Yo. What's poppin'? This your boy EJ, a.k.a. Sir Evangeline Joseph, a.k.a. The Bully, a.k.a. Mr. 10 Feet, 1/3 of Free Gems Network.
And it's your boy Wayne, Willmatic Beats. Let me talk in the mic. Let me get right. 1/3 of Free Gems Network, like he said.
Come on, man.
Father, husband, all of those things.
Producer,
man.
graphic designer.
Come on, man. Extraordinaire, man. But like we always say,
it ain't never about us.
never that, man, because we got a special guest in the building.
Special guest. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
But timing is everything.
Most definitely. I don't even know if you remember. We actually booked you a few years ago.
I think so.
Yeah, a few years ago.
Well, I didn't know for real. I looked at it when you inboxed me.
Right. You know, but like he said, timing is everything. It wasn't meant to be back then.
But when you think of tax expert, when you think of author, when you think of real estate agent,
okay,
when you think of keynote speaker,
I mean, what doesn't she do?
Talk show host,
I mean,
non-profit organization,
I mean,
clothing boutique.
We did our research.
Come on, man.
Man, we got none other than Dr.
Gwinnetta Wright.
That's right.
Hey.
That's
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Man, we beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for saying yes.
There you go.
We interviewed had a Coach T, T Flow on the show. Shout out to 4.0 Fitness.
Smart.
But how we like to start off the show is, where are you from?
I'm from Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
Born and raised.
706 in the building. The one and only.
Okay. So what came first?
The tax company.
The tax company.
Yes.
What made you want to go get into that?
Long story. So
we got all day, all night.
Okay, so I just found out I used to work with his dad.
Okay. Shout out Pops.
Yeah. So I used to work at this factory called Kaiser Warren when I graduated from high school, and I worked there for like 8.5 years. And if anybody know anything about a factory, working in manufacturing, a lot of times you'll work a lot of overtime, and then they'll cut your hours. And for us, it was like every beginning of the year, our hours will get cut to like 32 hours. And I was used to a certain type of lifestyle from the overtime. So I decided to get a part-time job in doing taxes. When I got into it, it was way more than what I imagined. I think I always loved taxes. Like we're sitting here right now in my building, but the IRS used to be right across the street from me. And I used to go there every beginning of January, and I would go get their little tax book and try to see how, try to do my taxes,
right?
Whatever. And then so when I started doing taxes, it just clicked. It was like, okay, this is really what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and what year was that?
That was in 2006. Well, no, hold up. I take it back. It was in 2004 that I started doing taxes.
So you started doing taxes for
another company.
Got it.
And then from there, how long were you there? How long were you doing taxes?
2 years.
2
and
years.
Then I started my business in 2006.
So what made you say, I could be doing this on my own?
Right. So you really want me to be honest with you?
I want you to be completely.
Okay. So if I'm being honest with you, immediately after I got finished taking the tax course, and I knew that it was for me, I remember having a conversation with the person that owned the business. We negotiating what we was gonna make or whatever, and I told him then I'm gonna give him 2 years. I hadn't did a tax return yet. I literally told him I'm gonna give you 2 years, and then I'm gonna start my own business. And the alignment with God, it happened just like that.
So what gave you the confidence to say, I can do this on my own?
I mean,
I'm gonna only give you 2 years.
I don't know. Being honest with you, I don't know. I guess it was God. Really, when I think back, when we talk about God and we talk about Him ordering your steps and the things that He'll put on you. Back then, I always knew God, but I didn't have a relationship with Him. So He was already ordering my steps and put my life into order back then. And I guess I was manifesting, and I was believing myself and starting that faith walk back then, even before I even knew what I was doing.
Who were some of those early supporters, and was he one of those supporters?
Who, God?
No, not. Hey, God is the biggest supporter. Look, don't ever get it twisted.
I'm just gonna
No,
say.
the man that you were doing the taxes for.
He was. I love them. They, a lot of times when you work for somebody, they'll try to stop you from actually going out on your own. I told them that they didn't think that I would do it, but I did.
Did they laugh in the beginning?
Yeah, they was like, once you start making money here and work here, you don't want to go nowhere. So I was like, okay, in 2 years I'm gonna be gone.
Did it happen within that 2 years, like exactly, or before?
It happened exactly 2 years.
That is crazy.
Look, talk about writing down. Look, did you write it down?
I don't think I did.
Are you big into like writing your goals and
I
stuff
write
down?
my goals down all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals.
You got like a private book or like a vision board type of deal?
I do vision boards every year, and then I walk around with notebooks.
So what started you into that?
I just feel like everything needs to be in order, right? I feel like you cannot achieve your goals if it's not written. It's like a roadmap to your success. Like, how are you gonna get there if you don't know what steps it's gonna take to get there, or if you don't know where you're trying to go? We can always have a dream of doing something, but if we ain't got a plan, how we gonna get there?
Blueprint.
All right.
How you gonna build a house?
Yeah, absolutely.
Drop a bomb.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Put some respect on the bomb. Put some respect on.
Come on, man. She coming in dropping gems.
Yeah, man. So doing that. Okay, so we in year what with your tax business?
I am in year 2024, 18 years, and in my own business, 20 years in the tax industry.
Were you scared when you eventually after them 2 years come by, and I'm assuming that you got your LLC within them 2 years?
I did.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so take us through it.
Yeah,
take us
step by
through it.
step.
I want to know.
All right, so I was scared. I mean, you talking about running a business, and back in those days, you didn't really have a lot of people, especially brown and black people, that actually owned a business. Most business owners were like hairstylists and barbers. You didn't have anyone really owning a business. Even though it was a African American person that owned the tax business that I was in, they were still rare in this city, especially.
Right.
So, of course, I was scared. I worked at Kaiser Warren. I was making like $50,000 working overtime back then. So I was used to that. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have a mother or father that if I failed, they'll pick me up.
You ain't had no safety net.
I have no safety net. So, of course, I was scared. My goal was never really to work my business full time. I was going to do it part time and still have my job. But that's that wasn't God's plan.
So when you fired your boss, take us through that.
So they actually made me fire them because I was in a leadership position. They demoted me.
What?
So I can tell you this. So you make me remember. All right. So so when I got my keys to my building, which is that building right there.
So you've been there since the beginning.
Yes. So I got my keys 1 week. The next week I got my real estate license.
Okay.
And then the next week my job demoted me.
Why?
Wow.
Because it was God's plan.
That was hating.
Yeah, it was God's plan. And so when they demoted me, they wrongfully demoted me. Now, I could have sued them, but I didn't understand that back then.
Right.
And so that was God saying, okay, go do your business like I told you. And within 30 days of them demoting me, I quit. And I went to a job making half of what I was making there. And I went to that job for my first tax season. And right after tax season, they came to me and asked me to relocate to Augusta. And, of course, I wasn't going to Augusta for what they was paying me.
Right.
And so...
Not going for it.
Not going for it. So I ended up drawing unemployment. And I remember before going into the next tax season, I remember having a conversation with God. And I remember God clearly saying to me, are you going to trust me and do what I told you to do? Or are you going to go trust man and go back to work? And I've never worked for nobody else ever since.
Congratulations, man.
Come on, man. We're gonna clap it up for that. We're gonna clap it up for that. Would you consider yourself one of the, as far as you said, black and brown people not really owning businesses back then, would you consider yourself the blueprint for that and for your family and friends?
Definitely. I mean, I'm a
Pioneer.
yeah, I was probably one of the first ones in my family that I know of that broke,
The mold.
the mold into entrepreneurship, and to making the kind of money that I've been able to make, and to walk the walk that I walk. Like, I'm the first one.
What does that responsibility feel like?
Oh, it's a big load.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a really big load because it's like you carry your family on your back every day, all day. And it's not because they require you to. It's because it's a choice you made. Because for me, when God allowed me to own my own business and have the freedom that I've been able to have and have made the income that I've been able to make, for me, it was all about making sure that the people around me live the same life I live, and then they be blessed the same way. When I started my business with my close friends and my sister.
Wow.
Are they still around?
Yes. So my sister is sitting here today. So she worked full time with me now. And my best friend, she runs my other location, and we're partners in a lot of businesses.
Wow.
Okay, so I want to take it back because you said earlier you had got your real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you go into real estate?
So ultimately, my plan was, okay, I actually wanted to do real estate before I wanted to do taxes, but I ended up kind of doing them at the same time. My plan was, because taxes is seasonal, for me to just do taxes seasonal and then do real estate the rest of the year.
Right.
It made sense, but it never worked out like that. Like, real estate is one of the businesses I always put on the back burner, just because I do so many other businesses. But I've been a real estate agent for almost 18 years as well.
And you keep up, well, of course you keep up your
Yeah, I keep my license. I just had a closing last month, so I still get money.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You better pop it.
So, don't get it twisted. I put it on the back burner, but we still making bread over
yeah.
here.
Look, we still putting numbers on the board.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, it's a good thing to have, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I don't market it. I'm gonna market it in 2024. I'm gonna try to anyway. But it's that thing that you always gonna get money in. So it's always been there.
So you own the building that we're in now, and you own that building as well.
Right. Well, I'm leasing them, but yeah, they mine.
They yours.
Okay.
Look, it ain't going nowhere.
Look, how many people can say that they own two businesses? Not own, but they have two businesses side by side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if one don't make it that day, the other one got it.
Right.
Right.
So, talk about diversing your portfolio.
So for me, of course, y'all named a lot of things that I do, and I literally do every single one of them.
And look, haven't even gone in detail to scratch the surface yet.
Right. So I literally own every single one of them, but unlike a lot of people, I don't just own them. I actually work every one of them. And then none of them are nothing that I just popped up and did. All my businesses are longevity. I think this business is the youngest business, and it's 5 years old.
Okay.
So, but most of my business I've been in for 10 plus years. And I think it's, for me, it's all about God. I'm a God girl, so it's about God and Him wanting me to be able to do all the different industries that I'm in. I really truly believe He wanted me to do it like this so that I can be able to educate other entrepreneurs and small businesses in about different areas, because He gave me that gift of knowledge, and I think, and He knows I'm not scared to share it, and I'm not scared to educate other people. So I just think I'm in it because of that. And I'm in all the different industries. So I'm in the tax industry, which is the financial industry.
Right.
I am in the fashion industry. I am in the non-profit sector. I'm in the real estate industry. I have wrote books. I have been a speaker. I do own a talk show. I do own a streaming channel. So I probably got a lot of other titles that go along with them, but those are like my main businesses.
Right.
So, so you got into taxes, and then while you was in taxes, you were in real estate.
Right.
So, what was the next venture that you got into?
My next venture was it was another fashion boutique. So this is not my first fashion boutique.
Okay.
Even though it's the youngest, it's not my first time doing it.
Right.
You always putting it on.
Yeah. So I started a clothing boutique with my best friends and my sister. That was my third business, which was called Fashionista. It was like 3-4 doors down.
Look, she been buying back the block
Right.
for a long time.
I need to own the building. I need to own
You
this
really
building.
do.
I do. So like 3-4 buildings down. It was the same kind of layout, and we had that business for about 4 years,
Okay.
and then I stopped. But one thing about God is that He'll bring you back. Because even though I got a lot of business, you would think He would stop making me do them. But He brought it back to me to do it again, and this is how Pretty Essential came.
Pretty Essentials. What all do Pretty Essentials offer? Because when you look around, it's like there's a lot going on in here. So what all do we offer at Pretty Essentials?
So Pretty Essentials, it's all about making sure women have that extraness to what they have. And it's about building confidence. So, of course, we offer a array of things. We offer women's clothing,
Okay.
Women's handbags, women's jewelry, sunglasses, and then we have assorted fashions like bonnets and waist trainers. So just different essential things.
It's
for
a
the
one-stop
woman.
shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't have no reason to stop anywhere else.
For real.
If you in the Columbus, Georgia area, you stop by Pretty Essentials, man.
Please
That's
do.
where you go.
And go get your taxes done by Expert Tax.
Please.
Right next door. Look,
Right next door. You go get your refund, and then you come straight to Pretty Essentials.
and shop. There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, you said that y'all have a array of things, and I want you to talk about I want to know, like, what was the importance of investing in the things that you were into?
It was really to make sure I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. You know, but again, if you want me to be honest, I didn't plan on doing all this stuff for real. Everything is in alignment with what God wanted for my life. Every business I have is based off a vision that He gave me to open. All my businesses are not income driven businesses, even though they can be. Some of my businesses are truly about just making impact. Like, for instance, my nonprofit. I mean, nonprofits can make a lot of money, even though people think you just ain't getting no money. It can make a lot of money. But for me, it's been more so about the impact in the communities. And so, like, with my nonprofit, we for 15 years, we just celebrated 15 years, we have done a toy giveaway in Columbus and in the Atlanta area. Well, we give away 1,000 toys and feed 1,000 families every year. We do the same thing for back to school. We have.
What's the name of the nonprofit?
It's called Reach for Your Dreams.
Reach for Your Dreams.
Yeah, and then we have a program that we put on the burner for a little while, but we'll be relaunching it in this year. And it's called YELP, and YELP stands for Youth Entrepreneur Leadership Program. And so that's us teaching young girls about entrepreneur education and leadership skills. And so for me, a lot of my businesses might not be about money. It's about impact. It's about making a difference in other people's lives.
Mm-hmm. You fine. Okay. We in your establishment.
Yeah.
This is your establishment. This is your show.
Okay, got you.
You good. So, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, talk about that. I want you to kind of go in a little deeper. You said that some of your businesses aren't money driven, right? It's not, it's more so impact. Speak about that, because a lot of people who go into business, the whole idea is to make money. So when did you kind of adopt that mentality of, okay, money aside, let's focus on the impact?
So, since the beginning, really, to be honest with you, because for me, I've been very blessed when it comes to making money, and making money very early on in my tax business. And I'm a true believer that like if God bless you, that it's your duty to bless others. And in business, I can't tell you that I just got money all the time because there's no way, any business owner just got money all the time.
Right.
You have your ups and you have your downs. But one thing I can tell you is that because I've been obedient to service others, that I never go broke. Because even when I'm broke, God still provide. And I just think that it's very important that, you shouldn't be money driven, because a lot of times when you are money driven, you're unhappy. You're not necessarily making the impact that you're supposed to be making, touching the people that you're supposed to be touching. And then a lot of times when you're money driven, you make a lot of costly mistakes. So for me, I know that the money will come, regardless of what I do.
Right.
As long as I'm sowing into other people.
Right. I like that. Hey, as far as the tax business, expert tax, how do you go about dispelling any stereotypes that people have as far as people who do taxes? How do you go about dispelling some of those?
Oh, I love it. So for me, I'm a real advocate for the tax industry because it's my first. I call it my firstborn. I don't have any kids, so it's my firstborn. And I hate that in this industry, so many people are taken advantage of.
All right.
So what I've done to combat that is I do a thing called Tax Talk with Gwen on my Facebook Live tax page.
Okay.
Every tax season, every Wednesday morning, and I literally talk about whatever's going on in the tax industry in reference to you knowing your credits, your deductions, and talking about any lies that people are telling out of here.
What's
Right.
the biggest misconception?
That if you got a lot of kids, you get a lot of money back.
So is that a brown folks problem or is that an everyone problem?
Everybody problem.
Everybody problem, okay.
Everybody problem.
Okay.
How do you break it? How do you?
You hear a lot of us say that. That's why.
Yeah.
It's a everybody problem.
Okay.
How do you market yourself as when you were in the beginning of your stages of doing taxes?
So in the beginning, we was doing guerrilla marketing. We weren't doing digital marketing. We didn't have the stuff we have now. So when I first started, I always knew to be innovative and do stuff different. So I guess I always knew that I had to be visible and stand out and make sure I got attention that was drawn on me. So back then, I used to try to do anything that I could do, like sponsor people, send out postcards and stuff to my clients that I already had. We used to go door to door, putting up flyers in people's doors, pin flyers in people's businesses. When anything that Columbus had that you could show up in, we used to do it. Like we used to do the parades and put our T-shirts on and get out there and do whatever and tailgates, anything that we can be at that can show, okay, we do taxes, we was at.
When what was the most successful one up to date?
Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, Facebook has been my number one money earner. I was able to gain back money that I lost in my business just through Facebook. But it wasn't just because I was on Facebook. I had a strategy behind it.
Right. Do you market that strategy? Do you sell that strategy?
I do now, actually.
Yeah.
I do. Because I now coach tax pros to be able to scale women tax pros to scale their business to 6 figures and beyond.
What was that moment like when the first person that came that you put under your wing and you coached them into 6 figures?
Well, that was early on when I first started my business. Like, my best friend, his cousin actually, was my first person that I actually coached to 6 figures. And that's just working under me.
Man. What's that like? What's that feeling like, knowing that, not only are you successful, but you putting your people on too and they successful?
Right. Y'all know that's the true definition of a boss,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Because everybody want to call themselves bosses.
Right.
But if you ain't feeding somebody else or making sure somebody else eat, then you're not a boss.
Drop a bomb.
Say it one more time. If you're not doing what?
If you're not making sure somebody else eat, you're not a boss. You can't be. Like, if you're the only one that's eating, you the only one that's making money.
Right.
How are you the boss?
Okay.
So back then, who were some of, even if they weren't in the industry, who were some people that you look to, and who are some of the people that you look to now?
Got nobody I look to.
Nobody.
But God. And that's not me being funny. Right? My whole journey has been me and God. You know, I go to a lot of seminars, webinars, conferences, and I'll listen to different people and learn different things from different people. But when it's all said and done, I get all my strength, all my wisdom, all my ideas from God. I recently, in the last 2-3 years, just started coaching. And I think it's a good thing for people to get coaching. It do help me in certain aspects of it. But I'm not normal when it comes to business, because a lot of my sense or decisions that I make business-wise is not what a lot of normal business people would make. A lot of them were frowned upon. Because I don't make decisions based off what the paper look like. I make decisions based off what the spirit tell me to do.
Could you give us a story on when that happened?
It happened all the time, be honest with you. So for example, like in my tax business, like our fees just got to the point to where I think they're at the level of what other people in the industry do. For years, I was always talked about with people that I would interact with on how low my fees was and how I was doing a disservice to myself, especially because I invest in myself all the time. But for me, it was that mentality of God bless me, He take care of me. I don't have to bust nobody in the head. Even though I'm knowledgeable, I didn't feel like I had to bust people in the head to make money. You know, so that happens a lot. And it happens like with pretty much every business I have. Like, I'm not money driven, so sometimes I do stuff for free that most people would charge thousands of dollars.
Right.
You know, because I'm always giving knowledge. But if you get the knowledge that I might give you, somebody else literally might charge you $10,000 for the same type of thing.
Right.
So it's be those types of things.
Has it ever bit you?
Always. Always.
How do you go about like not being bitter or holding resentment?
You know, I just have to talk to God. Now, I'm going to tell you now, the flesh, when I'm in my flesh, it's like, okay, I'm not doing this no more. Bump these people. I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to be selfish. Those types of things. But when it's all said and done, I always go back to my roots, you know, and God will pull me back in. I honestly believe that if I wasn't this way, like if I wasn't obedient, if I wasn't doing these things, that I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't still be standing 20 years later. Because let's go back to the beginning of the interview. I ain't never had to work for nobody else since the beginning. I don't have a husband. You know what I'm saying? It's just me and God, literally. It ain't no sugar daddy, no drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody take care of these bills and these 1,000 business but me and God. And then my team, who, of course, assists me. But when it comes down to it, I'm still the lead. I'm still the one that got to cover all the bills. So, no, if I wasn't doing it, I don't think I would still be standing. You're talking about almost 2 decades in this industry, 17 years.
Popping it.
Yeah, with no job.
Right.
I ain't stole from nobody. I ain't lied to nobody. I ain't did none of that.
Let's continue with the timeline. Okay, so we got expert tax, right? We got real estate simultaneously, right, happening at the same time. We got Pretty Essentials. Well, we got the first one,
Fashionista.
Fashionista first, but we end up getting Pretty Essentials, which is where we are now. What happens next?
Reach for your dreams.
Reach for your dreams. Okay.
What got you into that?
because I was already giving back through my for-profit business, which was a tax service.
Right.
And I did not want people to think that I was giving away stuff for a tax write-off or because I was just trying to get people to come to my business. So I just felt like it was just necessary to start a nonprofit so that I can really truly give back with nothing attached to it.
Is that that's really a thing where people really feel like, oh, they're just doing that for a tax write-off?
You know, you think about it. When Oprah was giving all those cars away, I don't know if you old enough,
Yeah.
but she was giving all those cars
You
away.
get a car. You get a car.
Now, did we think she was really giving away? Did we think she was doing it for a tax write-off?
No taxes.
Most people thought it was for a tax write-off.
Right.
That really knew. You know what I'm saying? So that is a thing. I mean, I'm an advocate for it. Like, do it for real for a tax write-off. But I didn't want it for a tax write-off.
Right.
It's almost like you still, even then, like moving on purpose.
Right.
You not moving off no paper.
Right.
Because the paper gonna come.
I mean, it always do. Even when you broke, it literally always do.
Ain't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could sit back and think like, damn, I don't got it right now, or I'm broke. You know, how am I gonna do this? And then because you living right and you living with purpose and you got good intentions, things always work itself out.
It does. And in the moments you don't really think it is. You know what I'm saying? You just be like, it ain't no, I don't give all my money away. I don't did all this. Like, and why I'm broke. Because if you want to give your money away, I wouldn't be broke. You know what I'm saying? But it's that thing, like, it's that literally trusting in God and just really believing that, He's going to take care of you. And that's literally my mission. That's literally my story. I tell it on any microphone that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
That discipline and faith, where does that come from? You said you've always been a church girl, a God girl. Where did that discipline come from?
I don't know. I mean, he just showed up in my life multiple times. Like I said.
Did you grow up in the church?
I did. I did grow up in the church. My mama used to take me to church all the time as a young person when I was little. And I think, maybe that I was grounded in that. But I just feel like I'm chosen by God too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm one of God's chosen ones.
Right.
So, when God chooses you, it is what it is, and again, because he showed me time and time again that I could own a business, not have a man, and still take care of my family, how can I not have it? And because he did it so many times, when I get back in those spaces where I am low on money or it don't look like everything's going to fall the way I need it to fall, how can I not trust him when he done did it so many times, even when it don't look like it? Now, one thing about God, though, he always waits to the last minute, but he always do it.
And it's always on time.
Always on time.
Yeah. Right back in that thing, man.
And we back.
Yes, sir.
You good?
Just drop my phone.
Oh, Lord. Not the money maker.
Okay.
All right. So, the nonprofit.
The phone is fine.
The nonprofit came. So, what was next after the nonprofit?
So we had the nonprofit. Let's see the nonprofit. I think after the nonprofit, I think I got into really being a consultant, like consulting small businesses. I think I wrote a book. Entrepreneurship the Right Way was my first book.
Mm-hmm. Is it still available?
It is still available on Amazon. And
What was that like? And what made you want to write a book?
I mean, because when it comes to all my businesses, my brand values are the same. It is to inspire, educate, and serve. So business is my jam. Like, that's my jam.
Right.
Business and taxes. So for me, it's about making sure people are educated, because we are not educated about operating businesses. And I wrote that book like in 2016, but we're in 2024 and we're still not educated about operating businesses. And I just think it's just really important that we stop talking about all the fluff, because it's too much fluff going on out here, and really talk about the foundational part of owning a business. And if people didn't get it when COVID happened and you couldn't get money for your business because you've been operating as a hustle or been operating it as a hobby instead of a business of what it was, then I don't know what you're going to do. But it's about making sure you have a foundation for that. So I just want to educate small business about the foundation of a business.
Why is that though? Why do you think that we're still not educated in 2024 about owning a business and operating a business?
I don't think it's available. Like, I think it's available, but it's not available. Like, so we go and pay attention to where attention is, where popularity is. And popular people are not talking about operating businesses. They're talking about what a pretty website look like and how you hustle people out their money. Like, that's what they talking about.
The finessing and things that don't make no money.
Right. So, it's that thing. And then we don't really want to learn it, because that's not the part. We think, oh, that ain't gonna get me no money. I don't need to know all that. I just need to know how to make $1.
That ain't the exciting part.
Right, that's not the exciting part. We call that the ugly part of business. And, again, you have places like the SBA, you have SCORE, you have all these different organizations that do teach you the foundational part of business. But then we don't feel like we have to go to those types of places. And then the people that do try to teach you that, you don't want to pay them. So it's just a lot of that.
For a young entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur that wants to own their own business, what's the first couple of steps that you would advise?
I would do research for one. Make sure you pay attention to what's going on in that particular industry, the industry trends, the competition. Do research on what it's going to take to turn a profit in that business before you even do a LLC, before you even do an EIN. And sometimes I don't necessarily believe that you should just go out there and as soon as you got a business idea, go get an LLC. In some cases you should, in some cases you shouldn't. You might want to try it out a little bit, because we jiggle around with ideas too much, and then you be left with all these LLCs and you ain't doing nothing with them.
Right.
So try it out. But I would definitely do research. And then once you do research and you decide, okay, this is what I want to do, I would. You don't have to have an LLC, but I would register to get an LLC. Get your EIN number. Get your EIN number, regardless if you get an LLC or not. If you're operating in a building, but you're supposed to get one, even if you're not, get a business license. People don't know what a business license is. They think the LLC is a business license, and it's not. So get you a business license. Get you a business bank account so you're not commingling your funds. And then from there, you start the branding portion of it. But getting those different things is like really, really important so that you stay organized.
When it comes to doing research on like the competition, are you doing that regionally, or are you thinking just the overall bigger picture of what it is that it looks like, the full scope of the business that I'm trying to run?
I think both, right? Okay. And then it also depends on how you want to operate your business. Like a lot of businesses that we're operating globally, even as a tax services in a local city, I operate. I want to say globally, but really kind of globally, but across the United States or whatever. Right. So worldwide. Okay, so I just think you just have to figure out, what everybody else is doing. So you don't necessarily have to do local, but you can, especially if you got a storefront, office space. You definitely want to research locally. But I just think you shouldn't see what everybody's doing. What is the market rate? What is the, different things going on in that market.
Okay.
For you having your own like clothing brand and your own storefront, what's some of the misconceptions that you've come across? Not true, but of having a storefront.
I don't recommend people to get a storefront.
You'll do it all offline.
I would. I didn't really want this storefront, to be honest with you. God just made me do it again.
Still come shop though.
Yeah, still come shop. The reason why is because overhead is no joke. The overhead would take you out. Like for me, I'm able to do it because I have another business that can sustain regardless if I make money here or not. Right? So it gives me, I have a backup plan to give me time to be able to turn a profit.
All right.
But if you don't have that, you just don't want to jump into no storefront. You want to build your audience, build your customer base. And then once that's built, if you decide or you think you need to go into a storefront, then go into a storefront. I'm doing it backwards. Don't do it like I did it. This is backwards.
But you like you said,
I already did it before, yeah.
You did it before, but most importantly, you have you are your own safety net.
Right.
So, what we like to do is, everybody like to give their flowers.
Okay.
We don't give flowers on this show.
Okay.
We give jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah, we give jewelry because we are Free Gems Network.
Okay.
So you've done a lot. You've impacted thousands. You've done everything from taxes to clothing brand, your show. People look to you. People look for you as inspiration.
Yeah.
I know, like going through your page, it's like, man, what we got to do?
Right.
She got everything going. What are we doing wrong?
She got the same goal as we got.
I'm trying to
she
tell
done checked
you.
off all the goals.
So we want to give you your jewelry because you deserve
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
most
you.
definitely. Most definitely. Give it to her now.
Thank you.
So you wrote your first book. What's the process of writing a book?
So I would say start with an outline.
Okay.
Right? Start with an outline of what you actually want your book to be about and what you want to put in there. Once you break down the outline, then start writing each chapter. You don't have to write them in no particular order.
How long did it take you to write your book?
It probably took me a good minute.
Years?
Because it probably did,
Do you think you lived like, how some artists, they be like, it took me 26 years to drop my first album. Do you feel that way about your book?
No, it didn't take that long. Because once I got into it, then I was able to knock it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Is writing a book, is it all this worked up to be, do you think?
it depends on who you is. Like, there's so many ways to do books now. Like, you got ChatGPT, you got ghostwriters, you got so many different ways that you can write it. For me, I kind of do both, all of it. Just all depends on what it is. Because a lot of times, even with ghostwriters, you can just have them to interview you. You can start the outline of your book, and you can write different chapters, and then let somebody else just,
Put in the words for you.
right.
Right.
That's gang. I don't think I ever heard of that.
Right, because, stuff like that is frowned upon, and most people do it, and it's so many things that are myths, or a lot of things that are frowned upon in different industries, and it's like, okay, but that's what everybody else been doing all these years. When y'all been thinking out here, they've been working hard, they've been working smart.
So for your first book, did you have a ghostwriter?
Not for the first one, but I have had one.
How did you find time?
All that stuff is easy to find. Yeah, all that stuff is easy to find.
And we're on how many books now do we have?
I mean, I have like maybe
I've seen
I got
two,
a lot.
I've seen two for
I got
sure.
a lot of books. I got a lot of ebooks because I got
Okay.
a lot of my books are pretty much industry type books. So
Right.
I literally just got finished writing one actually, for my industry for tax pros. It's a book for due diligence. I just got finished writing one. I've made a money planner. I got one about business credit. I got one about got a lot of different ones. But a lot of them I wrote. You know what I'm saying? Even the one I just wrote, I mean, it's an ebook. It ain't that many pages. It's about 50 pages. But it still took a minute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just to get it all out.
Was it hard to get like a publisher and distribution?
I just self-publishing.
Talk about that. What is the steps for the aspiring author out there to be a self-published author? What does that look like, and how do you go about doing that?
You just register with Amazon.
That's it.
Yeah, sign up, following the instructions, and then upload your book.
And look, reading is fundamental.
But guess
it's
what?
that simple. Isn't it?
Right, but it ain't that simple because there's a lot of steps in it that you might have to have somebody to help you with. But it ain't about just self-publish because anybody can self-publish a book, right? But it's about is the book gonna be successful, right? And that takes a lot of more work when it comes to putting in, like, again, building your audience, making sure you have the right type of marketing set up. So anybody can write a book, but it's about you actually getting people to buy it. It's the key.
Have you seen Seth? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you have physical copies in the beginning?
I do. I did.
Did you go on like a book tour and
I did not. But I'm getting ready to write another one in 2024. And so that one, every book I wrote was an industry book. This book I'm writing is going to be about my life.
Oh man.
My life as an entrepreneur.
It's gonna be like 2,000 pages. It's a lot to cram into a book.
Yeah, it's going to be a mixture of my personal life, my personal obstacles, and my business obstacles, and, how I came on the other side.
Do you plan on doing like a whole big rollout for this one?
Nah, that one I will do a big rollout for.
Have you already envisioned it? Have you already had that talk with God on what that looks like?
I already know what it look like.
I see you now on Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I already know.
Number one seller.
Come on now, come on.
Yeah, gotta get it.
Yeah, I do have a plan. I got a big plan for it, for real.
Okay.
So, your books, you write those. What's next?
Everything. I'm still working every business.
No, I'm saying like
What was the
we
next-
still on your life.
What was
Like,
the, what was the
God.
next chapter?
what's the next chapter?
I didn't realize Gwen's Business Corner was this far down the road.
Okay, yeah, it was. So I started, and that's really kind of was the next. So the Gwen Business Corner with Deontay B was the next.
That's 2016,
17.
17. What made you go into that?
God, I can't tell you nothing else. I literally can't tell you nothing else. So a short story. In 2017, I was at a crossroad in my career, and it was right after tax season, and I did a fast. And when I was fasting, I asked God to show me what He want me to do next. The day I ended my fast, that morning I woke up, somebody called me, a friend of mine, and she was like, I know you used to joke about you wanting a talk show, but we got some spots available at Fox. Do you want to get them?
Hold on. So you mean to tell me your first, like, ever, you didn't have to, I mean, obviously you put in the work.
Right.
And you know what you're talking about. But your first time doing it, you get with Fox?
Yeah, we was on Fox 54. Yeah, a lot of people might not know that. Yeah, we was on Fox 54. Yeah,
crazy.
we did it. But we sponsored ourselves though. So, but we did go into a local channel when we're coming out the gate, which is, I guess, is not normal for real. But we went on Fox 54. That was our first. We was on Fox for like 2 years.
Were you nervous?
Of course, I'm nervous with everything. But I came with a talk show after a fast, literally. When I walked into it, I thought I was doing it to bless my best friend. My best friend is Deontay Blunt, and that's Deontay B. And
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. And she had always been in the entertainment industry. She's been a model. She's been an actress. She's done so many things. She's been a dancer. She's been a cheerleader. She just done did so many things in the entertainment industry. And so she had been on my journey not the whole time, but just about the whole time. And she had sacrificed so much for my visions. And so I thought God was just telling me to do it because she always wanted to be on TV like that. She always wanted her own talk show. So I just thought God was telling me, okay, it's time for her to get her dream. But it was bigger than that. It was, I didn't think I was going to be on TV that long. I didn't plan on being on TV. But I did what God told me to do, and we did it. And Gwen, business going to 7 years.
7
this
years.
Year. 7 years this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. 7 years this year. And then, I don't know how long we was on Fox. We was on Fox like 2 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then God came back and said, you know what? I think I want you to get your own channel.
Right.
And
you now you can find it on the Roku.
Yeah. So we got our own channel. It's GBC Media. It's a streaming channel. And you can stream it on any Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and then you can download it on any Android or Apple device.
Honestly, look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
This is so inspiring.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know many business owners who been successful in this many ventures. I don't know many. And that's not me saying that just because you're right here. That's the God honest truth.
Yeah. What are some things to look out for as a media and talk show host? I mean, not host, but show when you get in bed with these big companies.
Well, first of all, like with us, I mean, everything is like, you got to pay for it. That's number one. But the thing about it is you got to make sure that you have, how can I say it? You got to make sure like everything is in alignment, right? Because even with our streaming channel, it's like still a growing streaming channel. Even though we don't had it for a couple of years, and even our show, we don't have good guests and everything. But it's a process, and it's about kind of knowing what to expect and what you're doing as far as like, how can you monetize it? Not allowing people to take advantage of you, right? Just a whole lot of different things. And I'm still in the learning process with it. But even though we've been in it for 7 years, I just feel like we got a long way to go still, because you got to understand, I got a streaming channel, 4 years ago. Now, when I got my streaming channel.
That's before COVID.
Right. When I got my streaming channel, it was right when COVID happened, I believe. Because it's 2014, so it's about 4 years, okay? So it'll be 4 years in May. So when we got it, nobody had one. Do you understand me? Mm-hmm. Nobody had one, hardly. The only people that really had the streaming channels that we knew of was like Zeus Network. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how nobody, but now so many other people got one, right? Mm-hmm. So we didn't even know like the technical issues of it, to get it built out, all those different things like that. It's a lot,
right?
And so we didn't have anybody that we could talk to that help us navigate it. So even now, people in it, but if you notice, like you'll see people get in it, then you turn around and then they don't say nothing else about it again. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it's navigating it is a very hard task, because it's not that many people in this space that you can touch. Yeah. That can actually teach you how to build it, grow it.
How many shows do you have on the network?
We only got one.
Just y'all.
Yeah, but in 2024, when y'all say, that's why I was like, what y'all say I got next. In 2024, we've been trying to make time to put other shows on our network. And so this is the year we're going to do it. We actually took a long break last year. We taped at the beginning of 2023, and then we didn't tape anymore. And one reason was because we wanted to kind of step back and kind of look at where we see the channel and the show going for the future.
Mm-hmm. What's some things that you look for when looking for a show?
I think the thing we're gonna look for is one is gonna be twofold. So when we was talking off, during commercial break, I was talking about giving other people opportunities that don't usually get an opportunity. And that resonated with me because that's what our show was about, what our show is about. And so even with our channel is going to be about that as well, like giving people opportunities that in other avenues they wouldn't got the opportunity because they might not necessarily have the numbers, or they're not in the right clique, or don't know the right person, right. Those types of things. So we're going to give those type of people an opportunity. But we're also going to look for people who actually have audiences. And having the audiences don't mean necessarily like you got to have a huge following. That's one perception that people really need to understand about building an audience in a community is the fact that you got to have influence over there. You can have numbers, but do you have influence over those people to be able to let them, they're going to do and watch and buy whatever you got. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for people that have influence and have already built an audience and already have a community. So just those different types of things. And then when you talk about shows, it's not going to be just about business. It's going to be about opportunity. So we're going to have a different array of things on there, like documentaries and reality shows, talk shows, different things like that.
How do you go about the differentiation, right, of organic following and being able to have influence versus numbers? Because we all know numbers can be falsified. So how do you go about spotting the difference and when scouting these different opportunities for people?
Well, one thing you can tell. Okay, so you can tell like if people followers is really about something when you measure their following based off their engagement. Mm-hmm. Everybody look at numbers, like the followers. You got to look at the engagement.
I've noticed that. Yeah. Some people be having like hundreds of thousands of followers.
They don't have no engagement.
But when you look at their reels on Instagram, their engagement is like super low.
Right. Yeah. So one thing about social media is that nobody really talks about is social media is not necessarily about the following. Like people look at, when it started out, it was about numbers. It was a number game, and people still look at numbers. But the reality of it is in a lot of instances, it's about engagement. Like, is the people really engaging with you? Like when you post, do you really get a lot of likes? But it ain't even really about the likes. It's about, is the people talking back to you? Is the people sharing your stuff? Mm.
Is social media a good gauge for that though, or does you think like guerrilla marketing is still the best gauge for seeing what real engagement looks like?
I think social media is definitely where it's at. It's about how you use it, and the biggest thing is you got to have strategy behind it. I'm doing something right now that probably later on in the year I'll probably talk more about, but I'm kind of like testing something out to building up an audience. Because one thing I've never did was build an audience.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, explain that. Because you, just from perception, you would think, okay, she's successful in all these different, avenues.
I'm popular. It's a difference in being popular and building an audience. It's a difference.
What's the difference to you?
Building an audience means that those people are engaging with you and what you have to offer. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got them in one place. you're talking to them in one place.
Like a community.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So you building a community versus a lot of people know me. A lot of people support me, my business, like even with Expert Tax Service. Like I got a little audience. I mean, I got a lot of clients. But the way I got them is not the natural way of what you're supposed to do in order to build a community and a audience. That's why when people have all those followers, it don't necessarily turn into money.
Because they
didn't
it's not a
build.
community.
Yeah, because for instance, I got all these businesses, right? Y'all know me for having a lot of businesses, but what am I really servicing you with? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you resonating with me with? Yeah, you could say, oh, okay, I can go to here for her for this. I can go to her to this for that. But what do you resonate with me on? Because for most people, I just look busy, right? You know what I'm saying? I just look busy. Now, I am who I say I am. I have been successful in a lot of things. But for me, it ain't the success wasn't just about what I did. It was favor from God, number one. That's why I keep talking about God. But when you want to really talk about the business part of it, it's about strategy. It's about building a community. And most people fail because they don't do those things.
Do you take advantage of platforms like Discord or anything like that to service that community?
I don't even know what Discord is, I think.
So Discord is a community chat pretty much. So where you can have your followers kind of come to you and that's where you kind of able to, I guess, get a real idea of what your community looks like.
So I'm building my community on Facebook.
Okay. So are you doing that through like group chat? I mean, like group messaging? How are you doing that with Facebook?
I'm building it through a community page.
Okay.
Okay. As far as like having a show and having like different types of content, do you have like a paywall behind some of your content?
I'm monetized on a lot of my pages.
Okay. Are you familiar with like Patreon?
I have heard of it, but I haven't utilized it. My app, but even with my streaming channel is monetized. It can be monetized as well. So it's just you have the different platforms, but it's about having the strategy behind it to make sure that you're making the money behind it.
Right. So it's currently a paywall right now on the app.
I want to say I understand what you're saying. What's a paywall?
So with paywall, okay, so when someone goes to GBC Media, right, they go and they download it. Do they have to pay?
Okay, no, it don't have one, but I can't have one.
Okay.
I can't have one.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, I think that's really dope to be able to have your own, because we all, that's why we name ourselves Free Gems Network. Right. Because eventually we look at ourselves as, okay, we have the flagship show, and we have other shows, but we have the flagship show, but we have these other shows as well, and being able to monetize off of. That's why I asked you, like, are you familiar with like Patreon? But you don't even need them because
mine is
the middleman. You the plug,
right? So yeah, our streaming channel. Well, even with our streaming channel, it's still through a third party. But you still can monetize off of it, right. And you still can have the subscription basis, and they still can pay to. So it's like that, or whatever. So with that, I mean, honestly, like those different platforms, what people don't even realize is like those are multi-million, $billion businesses. It's a numbers game, right? So it's just really about ultimately. Well, y'all know because y'all see all these big podcasts doing it. So it's really about again building your audience,
right.
And not just people listen to it every here and there, really building a solid audience.
Buying everything.
Right.
Guy who I look to for, podcasting and merch and all that is Wallow. I don't know if you're familiar with Wallow.
I am.
But he said, you got to get people you got to be able to pimp your link.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you drop a link, they tapping.
Yeah, they clicking on it.
But
not only they clicking on it, they buying.
Yeah.
But it's about the audience.
Yep.
And see, the thing that we don't talk about enough, and people don't get it, is the audience, and it's so important because you want to build your audience to where anything you do, they like, okay, let me go get this. Oh, let me do this. Cause you like Wallow them, they gonna get everything they got.
Yep.
Cause that's what they been able to do. But people think that you have to be like celebrity status and all that kind of stuff to really build an audience. People that's really making money is people that have mastered building an audience.
Who are some people that you look to? I know you said earlier that you don't really look to nobody, but as far as having a show and building your audience.
I don't know. I would like something like Zeus Network, right? But I wouldn't want to build my audience like they built theirs.
Yeah. The negativity.
Yeah, right. So I would think like Zeus Network. Tasha K. All the negative posts, Tasha K. How she built her audience.
Yeah.
I still don't think she capitalized off of it the way she should. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
She do okay, but it could have been so much more with it, monetization wise.
Yeah. So
she could have had a wine line. Her name is Tasha K. What is it? Tasha K. What wine? What's her name?
Unwind with.
Unwind.
Okay.
With, yeah.
So Unwind with Tasha K. So she been a podcaster all this time, but she don't have a wine line.
You think it might be access?
I mean, it just might probably be the fact that she really ain't thought about it, or she could be working on it and we don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because something like that would take time.
Yeah.
But yeah, why not have a wine line? Have your own wine.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's kind of how we be thinking too.
Right. Yeah. We look at the field because you kind of have to, right? When you get into a business like this, you have to look at the field and see, okay, these doors opened up because of this, right? And then we try to see, okay, what can we do to maximize free gems?
Well, y'all inspirations.
Oh, you said what are our inspirations?
What's y'all inspirations like in the podcast world?
Mine, it started with Drink Champs.
Okay.
Nori,
Okay.
Gillian Wallow, Earn Your Leisure. Joe, I don't watch him as much as he do, but Joe Budden podcast. And, we've taken, like how we done built our platform is we taken, stuff from each of those guys. Like we've done Patreon, that came, and we did it early, like 2021, that came from Joe Budden, being able to tell stories and getting the guests to be comfortable and, talk to us, but without drinking, without smoking. That came from the Nori aspect of it. Now, what we promote positivity. So everything is not saying that those guys do, but it's a clear difference from what we do than everybody else does.
Yeah.
What y'all think about this Shannon Sharp interview? Is it Shannon?
Shannon Sharp, the Cat Williams interview?
Yeah.
I think for that one, I don't think Shannon knew that interview was going to go like that. I think what happens is when you have someone that is a dominant as force as Cat, it just kind of took over his show a little bit. And when you get a guy that's kind of rolling like that, you brought him on the show, so you're not going to stop him. And it kind of got out of hand, I think, a little bit.
Kind of like Kanye with Nori and Drink Champs.
Right. Kind of got out of hand.
Once he gets to going, that's the money. So you're not going to stop him.
Yeah.
He didn't. I don't think Nori them did. Those numbers Cat did.
Nah.
I believe Cat in 24 hours, I believe that interview
had
got
5 million. Had 5
right,
million.
Yeah,
right.
and 22 and 48.
Yeah, 22 and 48 is insane. But yes, I mean, of course, we it would be remiss for us not to look at things like that. But like I said, that's not really the basis of our show. Our show really isn't the shock factor. And we have to keep that in mind that, okay, we know these type of things, negativity always sells. And one of the things that we try to do is we have to remain true to ourselves and know that that's not our foundation. It wasn't our foundation in the beginning, and we don't need to switch that formula for the views because that's not organic, right? We can get that one shock factor, then we go back to pushing positivity, right? And it's like I don't think that'll be real. I don't think that our listeners will respect that, and I just don't think that it will be viewed the way we.
It'll almost be like we selling out.
Yeah, most definitely.
I understand.
But we look at that type of stuff, though. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I watched the Cat interview as soon as it dropped.
For sure. It's probably one of the, as far as Cat's performance, is one of the best, like, pods interviews out there.
Yeah, most definitely.
I like it.
What about you? What you think?
I just think it was brilliant. To be honest with you, it was just really brilliant. I just think it was needed. I think that everything happens in God's timing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody could have predicted it.
No.
Cat kind of did though, but
he knew where it was going.
He knew where it was going.
Shannon didn't know where it was going.
But I think he knew. I think he knew because he's connected to God.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he already knew what he had supposed to do. So I think that's the thing behind it.
And I feel like he moved just solely off intention and clearing his name.
Right.
Like it wasn't like, well, I'm gonna just talk about these people to be talking about it so we can boost these numbers.
Right.
You know, from what they said, that he came in even before the camera started rolling, and he was going in.
Right.
So I think it was like clearly just to clear his name, and that's exactly what he did.
Right.
Most definitely.
And
one of the things I was gonna say, as far as that interview, it was definitely a masterclass of sorts, right? Because every time Shannon would ask a question, you saw Cat take his time.
Yep.
Almost like he was being guided. Like he was being guided before he spoke. And it was like he was waiting for like clarity. And that was one of the things that I took from it, like immediately. It was like, it's almost like
he didn't really speak out of term.
No.
He took his time. He
was
thought
being
about
led.
what he was going to say.
He was being led. Right.
I agree.
As simple as that.
I loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it not because of the miss though. Like I loved it because everybody talked about the miss, but I loved it because I was able to see a man in, that was in alignment with God. That's a whole nother conversation like that we're not talking about enough. And to show you like how God can use you, like when you chosen by God, like nobody can't do nothing with you. And people, it's people being able to identify the fact that, when you out in this world, the world has taught us that we have to be perfect beings for God to use us. And you got to think about this man don't got all these views. And we think about, he got these views. He don't make this man rich, blah, blah, blah. But you know how many people and souls he touched that God used him to draw closer to him?
Yep.
Nobody ain't talking about that part.
Right. Why do you think that is? Why don't the entertainment industry talk about God more?
Because they demonic. So they're not going to promote that because they're demonic.
So it's, once again, mess sells.
Right.
And, they created that,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right.
You think that's why the few that we have a few entertainers that kind of toe the line, right? Or they kind of tiptoe around the idea of God. I mean, I can name some people, but we definitely know there's some musicians, right? They kind of toe the line. They kind of flirt with the idea of putting God first. Why do you think they've been able to do that, or why do you think that gets stifled? It's like they put them on a pedestal for a short period of time, and then it kind of gets stifled after a while.
People serve different types of gods. So when they saying God, you don't know what God they talking about, right? It might not be the same God that you're talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The same God that you're talking about. And I think a lot of times they don't say too much in it because, again, we live in a demonic world. Like, that's not what they want you to promote. So oftentimes you're going to not talk about it because one thing we're talked about is not to talk about religion, mixed religion. That's not a conversation you want to have. So they stay in alignment to make sure that they keep what they got. you know?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like, them pressing that button to mix up the algorithm.
Right.
You know, from somebody that look at social media, you have quite a few followers.
Yeah, right. I can do better.
We all can do better. But I want to know, like, how did you crack the algorithm to you?
For the followers that I got, I mean, I just try to be strategic. I probably would have been, my numbers probably would have been real larger had I understood the audience component earlier. Like I always knew about an audience. I always, I knew the concept of it, but I would never take the time to build it.
Right.
And it takes time to build it. So what I do have, I got it because I was strategic and consistent when it comes to what I do on social.
What's your thoughts on like buying ads? And do you promote, like, do you think people should buy into ads?
Yeah, I spend about $30K every tax season on ads on Facebook.
She said she spent about $30K on ads on Facebook. So just imagine what she making.
Look. Right. That's not where I thought you were going with that. But no, when buying those ads, right? Okay, so how do one figure out, because there's a few questions that it prompts you with, right, when you get ready to buy those ads. A lot of times it's like location. It's a lot of things they prompt you with before you buy those ads.
Audience.
Right. How did you get in tune with that? Like, how did you, and what was bumping your head like the first time you bought those ads and seeing like, okay, I didn't drive the numbers like I thought for the amount of money that I spent?
So running ads is tricky and it takes a lot to figure it out. Okay, so for me, I just figured out some secret sauce, to be honest with you, that worked for me when it came to my ads. I know the money I spend on it is on one particular thing. When me running ads on other things, it don't necessarily do the same thing.
Intent.
So for me, it goes back to audience and community building. Like it's one thing about business that everywhere you go when you deal with somebody that's marketing, we always talk about target audience and niche marketing, and we just use those words real loosely.
Buzzwords.
Right. And then somebody tell us what to do to get it. We just like, okay, I don't want to do that. That's too much thinking, too much researching. But that's why it's important. Because ultimately, anytime you're going to run ads or you're going to do any type of marketing, you got to know who you're marketing to, or you're just going to waste a whole lot of money. So you got to make sure, like, you know who your audience is. Like, if I'm doing pretty essential marketing, I'm not going to include men in my marketing. I'm not going to include no 60, 65-year-olds in my marketing because that's not what I sell. So you got to know, like, what your product, what your service is, and who actually is going to buy it and who's you're trying to target. And the algorithm on all of it know it. That's why when you go and you go search something on Google and then you go back to Facebook, it's all in your ads. The reason why it's like that is because it's on the back end of marketing, all that stuff ties together. Right? And like with Facebook, if you run certain ads and you collect certain data, then now when you go back to Facebook, you can create lookalikes. And with those lookalikes, you can market to people that look just like, got profiles just like those people that has already shot with you. So it's just so much to it. Like, but that's why it's important of audiences and understanding it.
So for that person who wants to buy ads for the first time, they've never done it before, they've heard about it, they heard this interview, they heard you speak about it, but they don't got $30K.
You don't have to spend $30K. I choose to spend $30K because I know what I'm trying to gain. And ultimately, it's like, this is the nugget.
Right.
In order to make money, you got to spend money. you can't say you want to make 100,000, but you're not willing to spend 10,000.
Right.
We think we can just go make 100K. Well, in order for me to make 100K, I might have had to spend 30, 40K just to make it.
Most definitely.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
The
that's
100K is like where you get to when you have the profit.
right.
And people,
Well, it might not be a profit. Okay, so you know you got your gross and you got your net. So I might have spent 30K to make 60K. So if I made that 60K, I only made a 30K profit.
Right.
Because I got my 30K that I spent back plus the 30K that I made.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you can't say you want 100K,
If you're not willing to.
but you ain't even really spend 10K to get it.
Right.
Unless you organically learn how to make a audience that will just buy it. But that's the part, again, people don't talk about. You got to be in those types of rooms to hear it. Like if I went in certain types of room or around certain type of people, I wouldn't know it either. I would just be thinking these people out here just making all this money.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they ain't doing nothing to get it. But most people that's making large amounts of money, 7, 8, 9 figures, a person that's making 7 figures is spending 6 figures plus to make that 7 figures. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Vice versa.
it's
Like,
a gym.
yeah.
So okay. Look, that's a whole mouthful. So again, let me kind of just bag back. That business owner, right? Again, whatever. Let's say they're starting out, they're still budding. They kind of think they have an idea what their audience is, not quite where they wanted to be. How much should they be spending on ads starting out?
Starting out, I mean, anywhere between $5 to $20 a day for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Like you don't even have to. I still spend like $20 a day on other ads.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or $15 a day on other ads. You get the most money though on TikTok, like where you don't have to spend a whole lot, but you get a better reach for the amount of money that you spend. So TikTok is a good cheaper route.
Were you on TikTok early?
Introductory route.
All right.
Were you on TikTok early?
Not early enough. And then
What you mean by that?
the crazy part is, have y'all ever heard of Gary Vee?
Of
course.
course.
Okay, hold on. Everybody has not heard of Gary Vee. Okay,
Who?
so
Not us.
so
Gary Vee is worldwide.
all right. So you gotta want to listen to him though, right? So Gary Vee is like, okay, y'all ask me who did I look up to? I look up to Gary Vee,
Okay.
Okay.
right? I look up to Gary Vee, like I listen to him faithfully, like listen to church people,
Okay.
right? And he say the same thing over and over and over again every day. Just about every video, he about saying the same thing over. He said the same story, whatever.
And does.
Yeah, right. But he got so much knowledge and nuggets in when you talk about marketing and taking your business to the next level. So back in 2019, Gary Vee kept telling you, if you were listening to him, to get on TikTok, to get on TikTok, to get on TikTok, to get on TikTok. I don't care if kids are on there dancing. Get on there now. Get on there now. And I can go back on my TikTok and show you where I created my page and I was going to listen to him. And then time happened. And then when I looked up, it was COVID. And then TikTok just blew up.
Yep.
So I didn't get on there soon enough.
Yeah.
But it was right on time.
I mean, I did okay on TikTok. Like I'm gonna be at 10K, praise God, in a minute.
Okay,
So yeah, so I do okay on TikTok, but I think, I got a strategy. So we'll see where I be at the end of the year.
Do you have a team when it comes to social media?
I don't. Well, let me take that back. Me and my sister is the team.
Because you be posting.
Okay,
You be posting.
but it don't be me. It depends on what page you're looking at. If you're looking at my page, it's me.
Okay.
If you look at any of my business pages, my sister. My sister ran all our business page every single
Shout
one
out to
of
her.
Yes. My sister ran every single page, and she's obsessed with posting. Okay, but I taught her. right? She just took it and she just ran with it.
Right.
But we getting ready to hire somebody. I just put an ad up yesterday. Yeah.
That's a good segue for what is I don't even want to ask that. What are you looking for in a team? What can someone help you with right now?
Social media.
Social media.
Content, social media and content creating.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for right now. Because if you follow Gary V, you know attention is your most important assets in business. And so we got other stuff to do. So at this point in our career, I understand that I need to be pushing out more content, and I need to be pushing out more content strategically and what to be in my audiences. And so I can't do it. My sister can't do it. So we're at a place that my biggest thing right now is to have a content creator and a social media manager / assistant.
Got it.
When it comes to these apps and being on social media, whether it's editing, whether it's planning, whether the what is it when the scheduling the drops of your post, what apps do you use?
I don't use no app. Oh, okay.
You use CapCut, don't you?
Okay. You talking about something? Okay. So the apps that I use the most with is Canva.
Okay.
That's my bae.
And what does Canva do?
Canva do everything. Don't get me started now. Canva do everything. It started out just making little small graphics, but Canva write graphics, write you a blog, it do videos. And I mean, when I say you can create videos on Canva, but Canva do your videos through AI now. If you ain't on Canva, you playing. Like, straight AI everywhere. Right. So, it can write your email blast. It can write pretty much, it can do anything for real.
Canva is the future.
Yeah, it is.
So Canva's like ChatGPT almost.
It is. No lie, it is. And people not taking advantage of it enough. Cause you could make a graphic, take that graphic and make a blog post, turn it into an email blast, all in one.
One-stop shop.
And then chat, I would call it BT. Chat GPT. I use that. And then we use other little AI tools as well.
So you when AI rolled in, you all in.
We are, for the most part. We're still learning a lot because it's a lot to learn. But I think we're ahead of the curve than a lot of people, I think. But it's because I am in a coaching program, and they do teach us a lot about it.
How often do you feel like it's time to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but be up to date with new practices when it comes to businesses, when it comes to coaching?
You gotta stay in the trend. Like everything changed so swiftly, and you gotta stay changing with it, and you gotta adapt to change quickly.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't resonate with you.
Because if you don't fix it, you're gonna be out of business.
If you don't fix it, you're going to be broke. That's crazy because, one thing that you said often within this whole conversation was, I didn't do it quick enough.
Right.
Yeah, everything got a season, everything got a time, especially with the different socials. Like if you don't get in at the beginning, then it's going to be hard for you to catch up.
Are you into stocks?
No. I used to be into, during COVID, I got into it a little bit, but, I try. I'll take my money and put it out to it.
It's just the mindset of like getting in early. And
that's important too, though. Yeah. Because, when I did get in, I was always mad because for those 2 years that I was in it heavily, which was 2020, 2021, then I'll know a stock, and I go by spirit that I know I should have put a lot of money in, and the spirit don't told me to put a lot of money in it. And then I'll be like, And then a couple of months later, then it just went skyrocket, and I was losing so much money because I didn't listen. So I was just like, you know what, I ain't gonna do this one.
Right. With having so many businesses, so many hats that you wear, do you have a favorite?
Expert Tax Service.
After all this time,
It's definitely my favorite.
What does Dr. Gwen do to just relax? And do you take time off?
I always take time off now. I'm a vacation girl, so we always on vacation. We probably do 6 to 10 vacations a year.
oh yeah, pop it. Yeah.
I love it.
6 to 10 sounds like the move.
What's your favorite spot?
Got no favorite spot.
Where are you aiming to go?
I ain't aiming to go nowhere.
Really?
Have you been everywhere that you wanted to go?
I don't really got no place I want to go. I just go by the whim. Like, I'm not, even though I like vacation, I don't just fantasize about being nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Okay. What I do like is I like places with water, and I do like hot places.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be in a whole lot of cold places.
Trying to be in Colorado.
Yeah, no cold places, but I do I like the beach and water. I like a beautiful view. But I'm not one of those people like, oh, I gotta go here, I gotta go there, I gotta go here, I gotta go there. Like, I'm not that type of person. But I do vacation a lot. Like, we go on a lot of vacations, and we just really started going out the country like the last couple of years. Like, I did it my early years, like when I was 19, 20, 21. I used to try to go out the country, but I didn't like it when I was younger, so I didn't never go back. We might have went on a cruise here and there. Right. And so in the last 3-4 years, we just started going out the country. So we're going to do more stuff out the country now.
And you say we, you and your sister?
Me, my sister, my best friend.
Okay. Yeah, the dynamic trio.
Yeah.
Do you envision yourself having businesses overseas?
Possibly. Maybe one day.
Y'all they're doing taxes over there too.
Right. I mean, I could see it. I don't know if it's going to be taxes, but it's going to be some.
Yeah. What are you passionate about right now?
Taxes.
Taxes still.
I mean, I know it in my sleep, you know. Yeah. I know it in my sleep, and it's an important part for people. So, I mean,
the business is never gonna die.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say that, but it should.
Right. What is there a ceiling for being a tax professional? Is there a ceiling for that?
I don't think so.
You've been in it for a dub, so I don't think so.
I mean, I really don't think so. I mean, tax money, loan money, for real. That's why everybody try to get in it, but it ain't easy. Yeah. Loan money, like, it ain't easy at all.
So, how old were you when you first started Expert Tax?
26.
26. Okay, at 25, if you could go back.
Oh, well yeah, Expert started 26. I started doing tax when I was 25.
Okay, 23. If you could go to Dr. Gwen then, what's the one gem that you would give to her that you would want in today's time?
You good enough.
That's been a reoccurring gem.
Yeah, it has.
Think about it these last few episodes. I'm good enough.
You good enough.
Did early or younger Gwen struggle with that?
Older Gwen struggle with it.
Why?
So that's still the
like
that's
even
still
to this day. Like why is that still like a struggle for you?
Because it's your journey, right? My journey, like we'll be here all day. Y'all gonna have me all day. Okay, we'll be here all day if I was really to tell my story, right? Mm-hmm. So what we didn't mention in this interview is that I graduated in summer school. So I didn't even graduate on time, right? I was actually the underdog.
Okay.
Right? I have a speech problem to today. Like, I have a speech problem. And I'm not the best speller. I'm not the best with grammar. I'm not, I was a C student. So when you're the underdog and and you actually make it to the other side, not the way that a lot of people make it or the way people think you should make it. A lot of times, even though the world see you as great, because I got all the accolades. Literally, I got all the accolades. I got the presidential award. I'm Dr. Gwen, right? Not from going to school, but because somebody gave that to me. You know,
talk about it.
You know, I got all the accolades, right? I got all the receipts. But it's a hard thing to overcome in your mind when you talk to yourself versus to what people see. Right? Because in your back of your mind, you're thinking like, dang, am I really smart enough? Like, is they really they're gonna say, oh, she spelled that wrong, or she didn't do certain things right. But my money showed that I know what I'm doing right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My accomplishments show that I know what I'm doing. So you just sit with that. And what I realized in the last couple of years is that I have imposter syndrome. It's a real thing. So it's called imposter syndrome. And if you look it up, you'll understand. But that's what it is. But if I was to tell her something now, if I could talk to my younger self, I would tell my younger self, girl, you are enough. You know, and if I knew that earlier, I would be way farther than I am now.
So strip away all the titles. We always open up our show and we kind of give you your jury early. We give you all your titles, let everybody know everything that you've done. Strip away all the titles, all the accolades that you just spoke of. Who are you?
I'm just a child of God.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
This was classic. You deserve it all, man.
Thank you.
You really do.
Thank you.
From you, everything. Like you've accomplished a lot. From awards to that check, to the impact that you give people. You are it.
Thank you.
And I hope that you continue to be your own best friend instead of your worst enemy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But do you have anything else?
Nah, brother.
Is there anything else that you would like to ask us?
Just let the viewers know that it's tax time. Come check me out.
Where can they find you?
Expert Tax Service, located at 3604 Macon Road, Columbus, Georgia. We also have a location in the Atlanta area, Stone Mountain, Georgia, 798 Rays Road, Suite 102. And we can do your taxes 24/7. Submit your information online at www.experttaxservice.com. And that's spelled with the X and not an E. Been in the game for
XPERT?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love it. How we like to end our show is a top 5.
Okay.
Being that you are a serial entrepreneur, what are your if you could put them all in order, what's your top 5 businesses?
Well, Experts at number 1.
Experts.
Of course.
Experts is number 1. Reach for Your Dreams number 2.
Okay.
Gwen Business Corner with Deontay B is number 3. Pretty Essentials will be number 4. And real estate will be number 5.
The fact that you got 5 businesses is a flex within itself.
Right.
You stepping out the gym and they successful.
Yeah. She like, most of y'all can't even do a top.
Yeah, I can't even do a top 3, top 2.
Nah, just joking. It's just JK.
Nah, we dead serious. But thank you so much for allowing us to do this.
Thank you for having
me. I hope it lived to any expectation you may have had. If you had any expectation, I hope it surpassed it.
I appreciate y'all. I love the conversation.
Yeah, likewise.
And this concludes another great classic episode of Free Gems Network.
Dr. Gwinnetta Wright, everybody. The biggest.
Come get your taxes done.
That way.